guys, it's Double R Travels. I have been running some errands today, so pardon my get up, but it's kind of rainy and dreary here in Atlanta. But I was just thinking as I was looking at some emails and speaking with my clients, there are so many people interested in Cuba. As you can see, I've been and I have a commemorative flag, and there are just a few things you need to know as a first time traveler going to Cuba. Number one, there are so many ways that you can get there. You can take Air Canada now, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, just to name a few. Most of the flights domestically are traveling out of Florida, so that might be something you want to look into. Getting down to Miami, or I think Fort Lauderdale has a few flights now, in Orlando. And once you have procured your flight, if you're looking at a homestay, just be very flexible. I think that is the key word for going to Cuba, because as domestic travelers, we have our creature comforts, and that's not common in Cuba. I traveled by cruise because I knew I wanted to come back to a clean cabin and have my meals taken care of. And so, if you know the type of traveler you are, if you're a luxury type of traveler, if you're a backpacker, just take a full assessment of the type of traveler you are, and know that whatever you're doing in Cuba, you need to be flexible because things change. Like when I went, it was the day after Castro died, and so a lot of things that we were scheduled to do, we were unable to do. But really, in travel, you have to be flexible anyway. So it's all about the experience and not being too um, adhered to a schedule. So that's one thing, just be flexible with your flight as well, with your accommodations. Then, when you get that situated, you're going to know there are two different types of currency, one for Cuban citizens and one for non. The coup is the Cuban currency, and the kook is non Cuban currency. And actually, we learned that as Americans, we're charged a surcharge on our dollar. So it's best, and I haven't tried this out, but I've heard people say it's best to go with euro and exchange your euro. So if you've done that, leave me a comment, let me know. I will do that on my next trip. I didn't have any problem, but I knew that the surcharge was a little bit higher for Americans. So, that just kind of sits in the back of your head like, oh, I could be paying less for this. Another thing is when you are transferring funds or exchanging currency, I was doing it day by day. There were some people who took out hundreds, thousands, thinking for the whole week they would need all this money. But when it was time to exchange it back, which you do not have to pay the surcharge twice, but when it was time to exchange it back, they didn't have any US dollars, so they were given euros. So I would just recommend you taking out funds daily, or do a very close, probably under budget, what you're going to need. Um, so those are some of the main things that I took away as far as in preparation and planning for going to Cuba. The standard vaccines, you can check CDC for that. You can always use a travel agent, which I am one, and I will do all the research for you, because Cuba is new to us as American citizens and to other people as well. It's just a new destination, and so there's a lot of unknowns. So you want to do your planning, you want to do your research. It really is a year-round destination, so you can go at any time. There's not much else that I think I can say in this video aside from, again, be very flexible, plan as much as you can, and just really enjoy and try to take in the culture. If you're looking to do a lot, then you might want to consider a cruise, because the cruise will offer you 3 different stops. Cuba is a very large island, and so driving it is a little bit difficult, and you're not going to be driving it per se, but if you're hiring a driver, that could get costly, and it might, depending on what type of trip you want to have, you might just want to lay back and let somebody else do something for you. So I definitely recommend a cruise for that. So those are just a few of my takeaways on Cuba. I'll have more videos about the cigars and the rum and the different excursions that you definitely want to invest in, and what to probably stay away from. But as far as planning a trip for a first timer, those are the 3 things I think you really need to look into. So like, subscribe, leave me some comments and feedback if you've gone to Cuba, if you're interested in going to Cuba. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.